Cruise ships and guns, the gig economy. The gig economy, cruise ships and guns. There are so many economic activities we have been performing where we don't account for all costs, where we socialized some costs, and then some profit and some get something apparently cheap. Take guns in America, they are cheap, and there's always a battle between those who are pro-gun and those who want to control the flow of guns, like assault weapons. Guns, when they are sold, basically we are paying for the hardware, but we are not paying for the social cost of a gun. Like in the case of other regulated possessions, like cars. When we have a car, we had to register the car, we had to train to use it, we had to have a license to use it, and we had to have insurance to operate the car, liability insurance. So yes, have any gun you want. You want to have an assault rifle, have it. You want to have a bazooka, have it. But then pay for insurance, liability insurance, in case you shoot me or my property. So call your Geico, call your Geico representative and ask how much will it cost for me to have liability insurance for my assault rifle? What do you mean? Well, I want to have coverage and pay through insurance if my gun were going to cause some damage. Well, you will be shocked. It will be a rather expensive insurance, I'm sure, and maybe I should make that call and ask. I will. There's an entire gig economy of people who are constantly assuming risks. Now with the pandemic, all those Uber drivers and Airbnb proprietarios, owners don't feel so smart after all. Because we have been absorbing again, we have been socializing some costs. Uber drivers are taking a huge risk for situations like this when they won't have a job. They are carrying liabilities. Same for people who rent through Airbnb. My precious Venice is a city that doesn't have a sewer system for houses. So when people rent Airbnbs that are private homes, they don't realize that they're shitting into the canals. And that might be sustainable if we are talking about just the residents, but when you have a huge flooding population staying in these residences, they are overflowing the canals literally with shit. What happens with Airbnb if a guest burns down a house? Will your insurance cover that? Or how about the pandemic when they pass around a virus? We have been pushing back a bunch of costs, and many times we do it on the poorest people for the richer to get richer, for the rich to get richer. Think about cruise ships, the cruise ship industry, another big socializer of costs. First of all, they register the ships in countries that don't control anything. Your cruise ship, most likely, is flying the flag of Panama or Liberia. How much help are you going to get from those countries if anything happens like now with the pandemic? But then the ports of call, they receive the ships because they are like whores. They have to get this money. The amount of money looks good, even though it's for hundreds of people to disembark and stomp around. Again, a city like Venice is flooded by cruise ship visitors every day. Now we are learning the pain that the cruise ship can really be, because we had been hiding these costs. Companies who register their ships under these flags don't pay taxes, don't have labor protection. Once I was flying from Dubai to Sao Paulo, long story, and I had somebody sitting nearby who was from Bali. I was coming from Bali. No, I had been in Bali. I was coming from Thailand. But I was talking to this person who is from Bali about how beautiful the island is and that I have been staying there. And this person had a degree in tourism or traveling, and he was flying to Sao Paulo. So I asked him, why are you doing that? And he was going to join a cruise ship in Sao Paulo to be a crew member. So here's a person trained in tourism who lives in a paradisiacal island, but doesn't have a job there because, according to him, most of the main island Indonesians come over and take those jobs. And then he takes a job to be on a cruise ship for months at a time. And he's flying all the way from Indonesia to Brazil to fulfill this job. Isn't that a major dislocation? Aren't we paying a price now for that because of that kind of dislocations? The gig economy, gas, cruise ships, yes, Airbnb, Uber. We don't pay the real costs, not to mention the environmental costs. Industries that suck in air and pollute it, suck in water and pollute it. What will be the true cost of a gallon of fuel if we accounted for all the liabilities and costs associated with burning that fuel? Don't get me wrong, oil is a precious substance, a gift of nature once again. All those dinosaurs, all those creatures that got crushed, squeezed into oil for us to have this beautiful organic black substance that can be used for so many amazing things. And of the plastics that can be made out of oil are remarkable. But what do we do? We burn it. We burn it in internal combustion engines, and we make cheap plastic and throw it around. We could be all driving electric cars, short-range electric cars, and we could all have solar power, wind power, charging stations. But early on, the industry went fuel burning because of economic interests, as opposed to a pure what's best decision. The gig economy. The stock of 47 million jobs being lost in the United States during this pandemic. And that's because those 47 million jobs are disposable. They are waiters, drivers, salespeople, people who require little training and who are not an asset for a company. They are just labor. And at the first hiccup, they get rid of them. And then if it comes to it, they can hire people again and very quickly train them for their job. 47 million. That's a whopping perhaps one-third, at least, or one-fourth of the workforce in the United States. So let's say that one-third of the jobs around the world are disposable jobs. How did we get there? Again, not accounting for all costs, not having insurance for bad times, and unemployment coverage, The state of Florida now is going through a nightmare where people cannot even apply for unemployment insurance because the system was designed to reject people to maximize the profit or minimize the taxes of businesses.